close the night out right. Panel at the table in that half-dead light. Miss Robin in the middle, calling every shot, directing and producing. Still the story runs hot, 1-1 from the city. Badge heavy on his chest, towing that law like a wicked chain, spitting facts, no rest. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. JJ in the corner, state of the deep in his head. Which lies to toss and which ones to keep instead. Dago from the cafe says forget about it. Leans back, spins his thoughts like a blade cutting holes in the track. Be at the front, head advocate, steady stare. Every word like a warning, every silence a dare. All of them leaning in, clock crawling, eyes bright. Every secret feels louder than the buzzing of the night. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. You can bury it in paper, you can lock it in a file, but the truth bleeds through, drip by drip, tile by tile. We're dragging it to daylight, name by name, line by line. If you wrote it in the shadows, we'll read it out this time. Yeah. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite.
All right, everybody. Can you hear me? I hope that you can hear me. You guys get me a wave backstage if you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? It's a delay. So here's the deal. I'm sitting in SeaTac Airport, Seattle, Washington, and I am trying to do my Crimes After Dark show on the road. So hopefully we have enough bandwidth to do this. Wasn't a great start with the music tonight, but I will give my best shot at getting through my monologue. I don't know that we're going to have one for our standard monologue tonight. He's kind of like on day 2 or night 2 of the celebration of his promotion, I think, is what's going on. I think got some more celebratory dinners going on. I think we've got another panelist that's going to be joining us soon. We've got most of the panel backstage. Yeah, most of the panel. I think we're missing Logan from Bronx Sales, but I believe she's coming as well. So I'm going to see if I can get the panelists up here on stage right now and see if they can hear me and if the sound's working okay. And by the way, real quick, growth time for me. I would never have been able to do this a year ago, sitting in a public place where I feel like everybody's watching me do some live stream. Like that, I would be terrified. I had a phobia about being watched, and apparently now I'm okay being watched. So there's that. That's growth. Okay, let's go get Dago on screen. Dago, are you there?
Whoa.
Hey, I can hear you. So that's a good thing.
Yes, and I can hear you. You sound good, and good to see you, sir. Thank you for having me tonight again. Always appreciate it.
And from Long Island, on the other side of the country from where I'm at, very cool. Thank you for the gift on that side. And hopefully, I know that the sound's not going to sound the same because I'm on a headset with a microphone. I have no idea how that, so I don't have a nice little headset like you do, and I can't do the cool sound effects like you can do. But hey, I'll make do.
What
Anything
sound
special in
effects
your
you
world? I know
talking about?
you had the
I
verdict room
don't,
today, right? How'd that go?
I don't use sound effects, but
I don't know.
I
The
need,
verdict,
I need to get with it.
the verdict, the verdict room show was amazing. Myself, Mikey, Logan, and Miss Kim. It was a great show. We discussed a little Nancy Guthrie, a little bit of the D4 vid, whatever the hell his name is, case, the David, whatever. We
Oh
talked
yeah,
about
David. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
a couple little things there, and then we got into some Idaho stuff and made some very interesting points. It was a good show. It was very good 2 hours. I enjoyed it very much. So
And
I
I
guess
have things to
now
talk about tonight with the new WSU documents that were dropped. Steve, did you notice that like there was 3 documents that dropped today, and 2 of them have Steve Gonzalez's name on it only versus WSU, which I
I
thought was
didn't
super
see
interesting. We'll
those.
talk about that in a minute. Yeah, there's like
Cool.
3 documents, and 2 of them were like the Gonzalez representative versus WSU. Like, hey, where's the rest of the people on that document? But anyways, let's get Robin up. Robin, how you doing?
Okay, how are
Robin,
you? Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
good to see you. Hell of a
Yes,
delay
good
going on.
evening. What's that?
I said there seemed like there was a hell of a delay. I keep wanting to turn the camera around so you can see all the planes coming and going. It's pretty cool. Like it's kind of sunset here, and I don't know if I can do this. Can I do this live? I don't know. Can you guys?
Do it
You
live.
guys probably can't see out the windows. See the planes out there, and you get the sun going down. But anyway, so
I see
tell
the
us about
sun.
your
The
day today.
sun's really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do
So,
today?
groomed the beast. It took 3 hours. He's a Bernedoodle,
Oh,
and he got quite shaggy over the winter. So, but now he
what is
looks amazing,
a
and he has a
Bernedoodle?
gorgeous beard. He's a
Yeah.
Bernedoodle. Yeah, he'll
What
What
is
is
be
a
a year old
Bernedoodle?
next month.
yeah, what is that?
They're Bernese Mountain Dog and Poodle,
Yeah.
standard Poodle, and
Well,
so he's gonna wind up being about a 50-pound dog, something like that. So, but he'll be a year old next month, and he's a rare. I guess it's pretty rare. It's sable coloring. He's not a tricolor like the Bernese Mountain Dogs. So
no.
but yeah, he got quite shaggy over the winter, so he had to get groomed. Like I said, it took about 3 hours because you have to do him a certain way. And but he looks like he has an amazing beard now, so I'm thrilled. His adult beard is coming in. So
When we think of any kind of doodle, I want to play. I want to play Murphy. I got to play our song
yeah, well
Murphy.
he looks a little bit like Murphy, but he has more of the Bernese Mountain Dog, the texture to his hair. So he has a nice full beard. He looks like Gandalf. The
Interesting. I'm trying to picture that. All
As a,
right.
I
Well,
got pictures.
you got pictures. Well, you should put a picture backstage. Put a picture backstage of your
Okay.
dog if you haven't. But yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I
do that.
do. I do.
yeah, I'm curious
Okay.
myself.
Yeah. And if it takes a moment, I'll bring JJ up and we can get to the picture in a minute and get. And I think Logan's going to join us. We'll get JJ up here. You get the dog photo loaded backstage, and then we'll bring him up there. What's up, JJ?
What's up, everybody? Hello, everybody, denizens, meatballs, believers, and the mods. How's everybody doing?
Living the dream.
Yeah,
So I can't tell if we have a delay going tonight or not. Like the speed was good until you start streaming like 5 people and assets in the back end, and then all of a sudden I don't know if this is going to work out or not. But we'll give it our best shot. Did you work today? You don't work today, right?
No, I had that class this morning, so I had to do that concealed carry renewal class.
Oh yeah.
So
How'd that go?
it was good. It was like 3.5 hours. You have to do like a slideshow and then a test about like updated laws and things like that, and general like safety stuff. And then you go to the range, and it's a little more involved. Like you have to shoot from a holster,
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You have to draw,
Wow.
and you do like 3 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, and at the end you do 15 yards. And you have to get, we shot 60 rounds. You have to get 30 rounds on target to pass.
Oh, wow.
And I got like, 56 on target. So it was pretty good for, I hadn't shot in a while. And I never shot drawing from a holster. So
I didn't even know that they would make you do a competency test. I thought it was just all kind of like, here's some information, now pay us some money and move on, you know.
well, Colorado's gotten really strict with gun laws.
Yeah.
And it's cool, man. I hadn't been to the range in a while, and it was cool. It's good. It's fun to shoot. We have to draw and hit on target, and then you have to do magazine changes.
Oh,
So you have
wow.
to, it was pretty comprehensive for a renewal course. So it was fun.
So you had to draw and not shoot yourself in the foot by sticking your finger in the trigger while you're drawing
Yeah,
your gun?
you weren't allowed to shoot anybody else on the range.
Ah, shit. Well, that kind of takes half the fun out of it, really.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool. It's fun. It's because you have to, anybody who knows, like if you've gone to a range, like most ranges, you have to get qualified to shoot with a holster
Yeah.
because this was a class with a certified instructor. We did it like that, and it's very different to have to shoot from the holster, reholster
Yeah.
your weapon, and then also the last two exercises you had to change magazines and do it. So it was very, very cool.
Yeah. That's cool. I've never had to take a qualifying kind of thing like that. So we got pictures, by the way, of what's the dog's name?
McGee.
McGee. Let's take
McGee.
that.
Cool name.
No, wait a minute. I got a certain order. No, wait. Get
Oh.
get that off there.
Remove it.
Get it over
Remove
there.
it. Oh yeah, you got
Okay.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's quite a
Okay.
beard
You
he's
can put him
got
up, right?
going there.
Can you put him up? Yeah, there you
So
go.
this is him before we started. Now he loves looking out the window while I groom him. I groom him myself, and so he's sable colored. So that's
Yeah.
he has the darker points, and like I said, over the winter he got pretty shaggy. But Bernies, they're different because they do okay in cold weather, but when it's super bitter out, that's not the time to clip them because they
Yeah.
don't do. And we've had like the below zero wind chills and all that shit. So,
Yeah.
but so this was him starting off. But then we went and we did a fluff job before we started. So this
So
is
so
his bouffant.
you blew your dog, and this is what your
Yeah,
dog
yep.
looks like blown. Okay.
That is
glorious beard
dog.
he's got.
Yeah, it is.
His beard is bitchin', I have to say. So,
That dog
so
is the
then,
Shaggy DA dog. That is exactly what
yeah,
it is.
yep. So, and then now this is him. We're almost done. Now he's only going to be he'll be a year next month. So he'll just lay down like this. Like he's the most chill dog when you groom him.
Yeah.
And but the beard, man. Now I wouldn't have taken him this short, but he had some matting, and I wanted to see, since he'll be an adult soon in a few months, because they're not actually an adult until they're like 18 months old. So he's got a little ways, but I wanted to see how his body was developing now, and he's filling out really nicely. But at this point, he's like, "What are we doing? I am done here. Can we just? Where's my treat?" Yeah. But no, I love his beard. And this is almost his adult beard, so he's pretty well grown into it. So I'm pretty happy with him.
Nice. And there's no more photos, or is that the last of him for Joanne?
Yes.
I can pull more if you want. I didn't know.
You made it sound like he was like, this is almost there. So like, do you have a picture when he gets his full?
I have one. Let me get rid of this. And I'm gonna
Very majestic.
Yeah, he's looking good for how young he is. I gotta
Where you? Somebody says, "Where are you, Lee?" I am in SeaTac Airport, Seattle, Washington, on my way to London, Kentucky, for the trial of Sabrina Atkins versus Ben Fields in the federal court in the civil trial. So hopefully that trial begins Tuesday morning at 8:30 in the morning, and I'll be there and giving updates from the courthouse because there won't be cameras in there. Oh, look at that dog! Can I pet that dog?
So
Can I pet that
took him
dog?
outside to, yeah, he turned out good for the after his first groom after the winter. So I was pretty happy with that.
Well,
Like I said, for the first time. So
yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for stopping in. I got an old favorite. They used to make me laugh all the time, and then I grew up a little bit and I quit laughing like a schoolboy. But good to see you, Tig Old Babies. Okay, I'm still gonna laugh. Good to see you again. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate that. Now you got to take it off the camera so I can quit laughing at it because I laugh at that name every time I see it. Anyways, I always wanted to get a T-shirt. When I was younger, there was a T-shirt that said Tig Old Babies. I wanted to get that. What do we got here? Chapin's got the inner college bullshit. What's up with that? Maisie cries all night in Ethan's last text. I love you. Come on. This is the biggest investigatory stuff right here. Do you guys know exactly what they're talking about on that one?
No.
I know some of. Yeah, I'm trying to piece that all together. I was going to talk about the latest documents that got filed. I think two of which I think have Steve Gonzalez's name only on it against WSU, and that was super interesting to me in the first place. But I thought we could talk a little bit about the whole document stuff. But this about the Chapins, I'm not sure what the inter college bullshit is with the Chapins. Maisie, who's the sister of Hunter and Ethan.
Yeah.
Up all night. Ethan's last text. Love you. Come on. This is the biggest investigatory stuff right here. If it's the biggest investigatory stuff, I'm missing it. However, cut me some slack. I'm actually in an airport, and so I can't keep up on everything. But so I'm not sure. And if you guys don't know what they're talking about as well, then okay.
No.
Did any of you have a chance to look at those legal documents that we're talking about that Amanda fished out for us? Okay.
I did not. I'm sorry.
I didn't even know they existed until you just said that.
Oh. Let me see if I can attempt to put one on screen for you real quick. Hold on. We won't read it to you guys, but I want you to see it. Let's go. I would want to go to, I may not be able to do this. We'll see. Let me try it.
Is Amanda in here? I don't see her.
She should be. Yes.
Yeah,
she should
now.
be.
Amanda, if you can send that to me in Discord, I'd really appreciate it, dear, because I didn't even know they existed.
I'm loading one right now. Betty never said that, but he did in the last one. She thought that was odd. So this is one. I don't know if I can I blow that up? Is there any way to zoom in on that? You'll note if you notice this document, I don't know if maybe somebody else who have better controls can do that. The name at the top is Steve Gonzalez versus WSU. Like it's all by himself. Like I thought that was super fucking weird. And I don't know what to make of that part, but I will tell you the gist. I only had a chance to look at these on the planes with that, but the gist of it is, so you know how the lawsuit against WSU was filed in Skagit County. Now, for those who are unaware, right? So here's the thing. This is going to get super nuanced. Every single one of the victims in the Idaho 4 do not live in Washington State. They're victims of Idaho. And this is going to be a really interesting case because the families are trying to sue Washington State for not stopping a murder in a different state, in Idaho, because the murders happened in Idaho. The residents were Idaho residents. Yes, it was done by a Washington State resident going to school there, but it adds some weird technicalities to it. So the gist of it is the families had filed the lawsuit in Skagit County, where the only person of the families who lives in Washington State and actually could file the lawsuit is the Chapins, who live up in Skagit County. And WSU had filed to move the venue from Skagit County to the east side, to the Eastern District, because that's where all the key players, as in this particular document, they list numbers, something like 34 witnesses, of which twice as many live on the east side of the state versus the other side. There's like 14. There's like 14 on the west side, and there's like 34 or 35 on the east side. And so they wanted to move the venue. And Steve is fighting that and saying, no, you can't move the venue. One, you responded to our complaint late, and so therefore everything that you say should be tossed out because you were late in responding. Second of all, you didn't admit to facts that are known, which is Brian Koberger did these murders and stalked the girls and all these like that. And now you're trying to say that you're not sure those have been established facts. And so therefore you need to admit the facts. These are facts now, and you can't pull the bullshit that you did by saying, well, we're still looking into the facts. There are no facts. The facts have already been established and you have to admit to it. What I think at the end of the day, my take on it is this. I said before that I really think there's a reason why they did it. They wanted the lawsuit filed on the west side of the state. And I think here's my best guess. They're afraid, the families may be afraid that by having the lawsuit fought on the east side of the state, where a jury will be impaneled from the east side of the state, where many people may be related to the university or make their living from the university because the university is a large part of the eastern side of the state, that they're afraid that the jury won't be as impartial, that the jury would then be biased to defend WSU and not let them have a huge lawsuit because everybody makes their living over there off of WSU. So I think they were in part trying to file it on the west side of the state to get a better jury that doesn't give a shit about the east side of the state. So that's part of my take. The last part I'll say before I open it up for you guys to talk about is what's called sovereign immunity. So oddly enough, like police officers have sovereign immunity in some things and you can't sue them for certain things, also a university in a lot of states can claim sovereign immunity and say you can't sue the university. It's just you can't do it. And oddly enough, a university could choose to allow themselves to be sued. So they have the right to say, I'll not claim my sovereign immunity and allow myself to be sued. I don't know why anybody would allow themselves to be sued, but that's part of the issue as well. And so the families may have thought that they were going to get around the sovereign immunity part of the lawsuit by filing it on the west side of the state. So I just wanted to see if you guys have any clue what I'm talking about, whether you have thoughts about it. Do you think it is possible that the reason why they wanted to file it is because they wanted to have a jury that wasn't maybe biased to defend the eastern, the university? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, that would make sense. I mean, I'm sure that Steve would realize that they would have better chances with a jury that was more or less loyal to the university, because most people really, it's the same thing. Money makes the world go around. So of course, why would the people who live and depend on WSU, why would they go against the university and award somebody, what is it, $400 million or whatever it is? So that would make sense to me, that could be his thinking on it.
Yeah, and I don't know how this plays into it, but I've lived in Washington State, my whole life, and that Washington State is divided very politically. The west side of the mountains, the Cascades, right, is very liberal. It's the big city. It's Seattle. It's the coast where the most people live, and so it's very liberal oriented. The east side of the state, where I grew up, was very conservative. So it's very Republican, rural, smaller counties and stuff like that. And so there's the idea as well that rural communities are more favorable to law enforcement and certain types of mentalities, where the liberal side of the state may be more tolerable to certain other types of things. And so they're factoring in for having it filed on the west side might be because they're wanting a more liberal jury, or they just want a jury that isn't potentially tainted by, hey, I work for, or so I have a cousin who works for the university and they can't afford to lose that kind of money. But it's interesting to think about why they did that,
Yeah,
I tend to, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Diego.
I was just going to say, good point. Go ahead, JJ.
I still feel that especially Steve, they're just throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. They're obviously, this case, in my opinion, is about money.
Yeah.
And so with civil suits, I mean, people can sue you for anything. It doesn't mean that they're going to win, but their attorneys, I'm sure, convinced them that they had a good chance. And, that's the way it works. It's like ambulance chasing. All right, I'm going to get a fat payout if they win the case. So my suspicion is that any attorney would tell them they had a good chance for a big windfall like that. It would be worth them taking the chance. And so any other ancillary things that are being filed, in my opinion, are just trying to increase the odds.
There was something else, again, if you guys haven't seen the documents, there was something else I saw in there that was a little bit of a, I want to say a surprise, if I don't know if that's the right word, but they had the Idaho State Police documents. Remember that huge dump they had of Idaho State Police reports, and we all read through it and spent time analyzing it and who was interviewed and whatever. Well, the Gonzalez attached 2 of the Idaho State Police reports as Exhibit 1 and 2 to their lawsuit, to their countersuit. And what they were saying was, look, it is on the record that investigators talked to Washington State University officials who admitted on the record to police officers that they had problems with Koberger. And so your letter that countered us saying, well, we're still looking into the facts. He's like, there isn't any facts. Your attorneys were there in the room with police detectives admitting that you had problems with Koberger and that you knew you had problems with Koberger. And here's the exhibits that show that on this date, Detective so-and-so was at WSU and spoke to this professor, where this professor said, we've been knowing that there's a problem with Koberger. So they actually added 2 reports in there showing that they had met with people at the university acknowledging that they were concerned about Koberger's behavior, which looks good for their side, you know.
Definitely. Yeah, that's new to me. I've never heard that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that as well. It was also surprising because one of the statements that they made that I didn't remember ever coming out, shame on me for not knowing this. They had made the statement in their big complaint to WSU that Brian Koberger specifically was going into criminology to study sexual behaviors or sexual crimes. And I thought, where'd you get that from? I don't remember that. It's actually in the same document that they list in the exhibit. It said that they said that University of Washington admitted, or sorry, not University of Washington. For fuck's sake, they'll lose their mind in Washington State. Washington State University, not the same as University of Washington. Washington State University also said, and that to the detectives, that Koberger was specializing in sexual assaults, which is part of their complaint, right? It's like, look, he's a sexual predator who was studying how sexual assaults work and then went and did a sexual assault. This is despite the fact that Bill Thompson has repeatedly said there was no stalking and no sexual part of this crime whatsoever. They're still insisting this was a sexual crime, that Koberger was motivated by sex.
And don't forget the way that the prosecution made sure that they stressed that there was no sexual aspect to this. They stressed that and repeatedly made that statement again and again, almost like they were making sure you understood there's no sexual aspect to this. So
it's exactly what Bill Thompson said. I want to make it abundantly clear there is no sexual element in this crime. Yeah.
Well, you know, my take on that is, if number one, if there was, the university would want, and considering all the other things that seem to be a cover up or imply a cover up, they would want to cover that up, in my opinion. The second thing is, forensic psychologists and profilers say that stabbing, oftentimes brutal stabbings, have a sexual component to them, because the killers get sexually aroused by that, because it's a very personal type of a crime. So that's a recurring theme in criminal profiling and forensic psychology.
Yeah.
There's also a nuance. I need to get Robin's opinion too, but there's also a nuance that how do I explain this? So the Gonzalez families and the rest of them, by extension, all of them together, tried to claim that Moscow and Pullman are a combined community, because part of WSU's defense is we don't have any supervisory authority over something that happens in Idaho or on the Idaho campus, or that's not a school function. And so the family's counter was, well, that is a combined community. Moscow Pullman is known as the Moscow Pullman community. Therefore, you are supervising both campuses, and therefore it's your problem. That was part of their argument as well.
That's never going to
No,
fly.
that's
never going to fly.
I don't go for that at all.
Yeah,
No.
it's
They're
a
two
stretch.
different states.
Yeah, they're two different states.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know they're close together, but
yeah,
It's known that they share certain things. Yes, I understand.
sure,
Whitcomb and all the 911 center being shared, and they do share classes on both campuses. That's fine. They're still two separate communities and two separate schools. Period. End of
right,
story. You can't fight
exactly.
that. And anybody, I'm sure WSU will come back with that and say no,
right.
that's
And
not how that works.
and there's also going to be a battle on negligence versus willful. How did they word it? That they're basically they have to prove that WSU basically did more than just kind of were negligent to stop something, that they actually contributed to this situation. And they're going to have an uphill battle, I think, on this for sure. But it's kind of like JJ said, they're throwing a million things against the wall, the spaghetti approach, and see what sticks. And if 3/4 of it drops out, but they still have a lawsuit left, they're going to go with it.
And they also probably are hoping that they'll settle because they don't want the publicity.
Yes.
So, because it would have a lot of publicity. So I would imagine that the plaintiffs are, in at least on some level, are thinking that they will settle because they don't want it to go to trial, because that will create a lot of publicity. And even if WSU has a strong case to combat their filing, they may not want the bad publicity that goes along with it. And I think attorneys know this, and they probably are banking on that.
Well,
that was enough. Go ahead, Robin.
Well, I was just going to say, what I hope is, I know I brought this up before, that's a lot of money to have taken out of your coffers. So 9 chances out of 10, if WSU is going to settle, they're probably saying to their insurance company, we're going to need you to cough up money. And it may be the insurance company going, no,
Yeah, you've said that
we're
before.
not
The
paying out
insurance.
for that. Bullshit.
Right.
So you are going to have no choice but to fight this in court, because we're not going to pay
And see,
under the tort law and that kind of thing. So
here's another funny thing. I wished I had the wording for you to show it. You need to read it yourself, because it'll almost be word for word what I'm going to tell you. This is funny. So the Gonzalez, like Steve Gonzalez in that filing said, look, we want it on the west side of the state because we're afraid that the publicity of this trial will make it hard for us to get a fair trial. And WSU countered and said, that's the pot calling the kettle black, because you've done nothing but want publicity on this case. We, by extension, don't want publicity, but you've done nothing but do Dateline and NBC and all these different things, and you're on TV all the time. So you can't tell us on one hand you don't want the publicity of this case when all you do is go out there and publicize this case. So I was like, that's awesome.
1,000,000%. I love that too. That's exactly
to what Robin was saying, like an insurance company, they have actuaries, so they're going to have experts that say, all right, if it goes to trial, what are the chances that we lose, and how much will we have to pay out? And then they'll calculate, cost benefit analysis. All right, if we settle, how much will they take? If it's going to save them money, it's literally a numbers game. They'll calculate how much they might save by settling. And that's generally how big corporations, which universities are basically, would handle it. That's why so many big corporations, they carry out fuckery all the time. They know it's causing harm, but they do a cost benefit analysis, and so I'm guessing that that's what's going to happen in this case, because I don't know. It's so fucked up anyway. There's
another weird nuance, which is that early on, from what I understand, WSU tipped their hat that basically said, you can't come after us for our policies because our policies are federal guidelines. So if you've got a problem, go after the federal government. Our policies that you're stating are the problem are literally federal guidelines. So you've got a problem with the federal government, not us. And so that's an interesting
Yeah.
tactic too. So
a
it's
good
really going to be
point,
interesting to
yeah.
see where this all plays out. But
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely agreed. Wild.
and I
It
can't
is
guess.
wild.
I'm trying to guess how this is going to. And then I was seeing an attorney, a group of attorneys, Andrew Myers, right, was talking about the whole. What does it mean that Koberger is listed as a potential witness for the plaintiffs' families, and will he plead the fifth? And why are they even trying to pull that maneuver? What do they expect they're going to accomplish by trying to get Koberger to testify on their behalf to say, yeah, you guys owe them money for me killing people? Like, what are they even trying to accomplish with that? And this gets into that whole like
Yes.
3D chess
Yes.
thing, like, or 5D chess. Like, what the hell's going on with the move of trying to put Koberger on the list of witnesses to testify? And would he just plead the fifth and not talk? He didn't talk through his trial, so why would he talk during this trial?
Yeah,
Well,
because he doesn't have to.
he-
I mean,
Yeah.
he can
doesn't-
get up there, and he can just sit there.
Yeah, at this point, there's nothing that he has to do. He's convicted, sitting in prison, and if he wants to play it that way, he can just sit there and be. Well, I don't know. Somebody said something the last time we talked about this in chat about he can't plead the fifth. So
Yeah, he can be subpoenaed. Well, the problem, I think the problem is that you can't force somebody. I mean, maybe he can't plead the fifth, but you can't force somebody to say something, right? So it's like,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, he could be held in contempt of court if for some reason a judge says you must answer that question and he refuses to answer it. So
what are they going to do? Put him in jail? You know, that's the
life
crazy
in
thing.
prison without the right.
I have a prediction about
Yeah.
what I think is going to happen. I tend to lean towards the fact that it will be settled, that it will not go to trial. That's my initial gut impression. But if it does,
Yeah.
I think that this case
Oh, shit.
will be a landmark case that will be used to forward predictive policing on campuses and increasing surveillance on campuses and creating a DNA database on campuses. That's my prediction. I stand firm.
And I feel like at this point, I think he might actually take full advantage of the ability that he has. Like Twiz said, he has nothing to lose.
Well,
So why not?
yeah.
You know?
And traditionally, like, as I understand, like, pleading the fifth, for example, is usually to keep yourself from incriminating yourself, but there's nothing he's incriminating himself on because this isn't his trial. Like this,
Right.
right? So in that regards, he can't say, well, I'm not going to speak because I don't want to incriminate myself, because the trial isn't damages against him. It's completely
Right.
outside of him, right? Well, I mean, completely, I guess not, because, but anyways, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to lead to more charges against him. So therefore him talking isn't going to incriminate him.
I still think that this could be that whole 5D chess thing that we sat and stretched out the other night and talked about the in-depth psychological side back to this thing that it could be. So, hey, 1-1, just saying, like, I think that's the possibility here that would weigh the most, in my opinion, with that.
Yeah, it's funny because Twiz says, well, he can choose not to talk and then the judge can put him in jail. Well, he is in jail. Life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now, here's the funny nuance of that. This is crazy. So let's say Koberger is subpoenaed and the judge says you have to answer and he chooses not to, and the judge then fines him some kind of sentence of jail time for contempt of court. And you think, oh, what do you care? It's he's already in life. But then what if he has post-conviction relief and vacates his guilty plea? Is he still going to jail for contempt of court? And so he stays in, like, okay, fine. Then you got your plea vacated. But remember that contempt of court thing? You're still in jail for the contempt of court.
Which, yeah, that would be insane. I mean, the contempt of court charge, they couldn't really put him in there for too long. But the point, that's wild. That's a wild thought.
Like we need another wrinkle.
I tend to think that this is just a publicity stunt calling Koberger as a witness. I think
I think so.
I think it's purely because it will get a lot of attention in the media if he's called. And I won't bore you, and I won't repeat what my theory on Koberger is, because you all know what it is. And if there's a bigger play happening for increasing domestic surveillance and predictive policing and a DNA database, the more publicity the trial were to get, hypothetically, the better it would be for that cause.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even know that we'll even see him get called. He may
Right.
be on the list, but he
He
may
could be
not.
on the list that they never actually. Yeah, right. They list
Yeah.
people on the list that they don't actually intend to call, but they just have it in case they need to. So they may never intend to bring
Right.
him on there. And to that effect, it may be just like he's saying, a publicity stunt. They don't intend to bring him on there, but they know it'll get all kinds of attention, and everybody will
Yeah.
ask all these questions, and it'll be
Yeah.
talked about. And right.
Yeah, I thought I saw one when. I'm sorry, you guys. But yes, absolutely, I agree with that, Lee.
Yeah. So what else do we have? I thought we were going to have Logan. I haven't seen Logan yet, but I'll give you. We can return to Idaho 4, but just wanted to let you know, in case we haven't talked about it enough yet, the reason why I'm here streaming from the SeaTac Airport is I'm on my way to London, Kentucky, for the trial of Sabrina Atkins versus Ben Fields, which is related to the Nikki Steins shooting the judge Kevin Mullins in the judge's chambers. I'm guaranteeing you it's related. In fact, Nikki Steins is set to testify in that coming trial. So that'll be interesting to see what happens, whether that's on Zoom or whether they bring, will they bring Nikki Steins into the courthouse in custody and chains to talk on behalf? Like, I don't know how that's going to work out. I suspect it'll be a Zoom call from his detention center. But anyways, I'm hopeful that case happens because it's in a federal courtroom. There's no cameras allowed, so I can't bring cameras in, but I will do my best to do recaps like at noon. Like if there's a lunch break and I can step out, I'll do a quick stream of some stuff, and then I'll take really good notes, and I'll do lives and notes and updates, and I'll also kind of be tweeting. I don't think I can necessarily tweet from the courtroom. For those who don't know, judges generally set their own rules for their courtroom. So you could have a judge that says it's okay for you to have your phone on, but it's got to be in your lap and never above. Like that's what happened at the Koberger trial. When I was at the Koberger sentencing, they said you can have your phones, but if I ever see the phone come above the back of the pew in front of you, you're going to go home in bracelets. So they literally warned us that they would arrest us and take us out of there if they see us put the camera up where we could record. But some judges will be like, absolutely, there's going to be no phones in my courtroom, period. And they have the right to do that. So I suspect it will be no recording devices, no phones, and I'll have to do things the pen and paper way and then update you after the trial each day.
Yeah, definitely.
So lots of stuff going on there. I am getting in contact with people, the locals. Again, Sabrina and family and friends are in Kentucky, in London, Kentucky. I should be meeting up with them. I'm trying to get the legalities of that. I did look up, like, is Sabrina allowed to talk to me while she's appearing in court every day? And according to what I see, she can. She's allowed to talk to me if she wants to. Now, her attorney might advise her, don't be talking to anybody in the media while you're in the middle of a trial, which probably would be the smart thing. And nor do I want to get in a situation where they say, oh, Sabrina opened her mouth in the middle of the trial, and we're going to play this clip of her talking to devil's advocates outside the courtroom today, and now her whole case is tossed. I would feel like shit. So I got to be careful what I do talk to. But anyways, what do you guys think about that whole thing? Like about the Mickey Stein thing? Are you guys following that much? Are you guys kind of like waiting to see what I say, or what?
Well, I wondered too whether or not she was going to be allowed to talk to you while this is going on.
Yeah.
Technically,
I
she
don't
can,
know.
but I don't know that she should, because actually the defense for Ben Fields tried to say that she's already violated something when she had a GoFundMe. She had a GoFundMe page up to try to raise funds for her defense, and Ben Fields' defense said she's not allowed to do that. So she shouldn't have been out there trying to raise funds for her legal defense kind of thing. So I don't know what the rules are or aren't allowed. I'm going to exercise a lot of caution when I go there.
Why is that not allowed?
Yeah,
I don't remember. They said something about the judge had ordered her to not publicize her story or something to that effect. I can't remember what it was. So I need to look at it again. It was in the documents. I just read it the other day when I was doing a live with Jody from the defense rests, and I have to look at it again. But there was something where they said the judge told you not to do a certain type of talking to the media, and that was one that violated it. So she could talk to some media about some things, but not raise funds for it or something like that. I don't know.
Okay. That's wild. Never heard of that,
Yeah.
but gotcha.
Well,
No.
isn't it? Couldn't they slap a gag order on things too?
It was kind of like a gag order, yeah, but it wasn't. I'll have to go back and read it again. Unfortunately, it sucks that I did that off my memory and don't remember it well enough to give you the right wording on it. I just remember it was part of that discussion of that. Hey, she's already violated a rule by doing a GoFundMe on this. So, and it turns out, by the way, there are people, and I don't know how I feel about this, but there are people who I've been told there are people who are sitting in the Letcher County jail incarcerated who have stories to tell about the corruption in the county, and they want to talk to people, but they're afraid to do so from incarceration. And then Jody was like, and Jody's like, well, can you go by and go talk to them and get their story? And I'm like, well, I can't just drop in on an inmate. They would have to request and put me on their approved list. And she's like, on it. I'm gonna get you on the approved list so you can go see them. And I'm like, okay. How will I feel walking into Letcher County Jail to talk to inmates about the corruption in the jailhouse?
Right. That's wild.
Be careful out
I'm
there,
not,
man.
yeah, I'm not sure how that would work because about the time you go to leave, they'll be in there going, "What'd they tell you?" Huh?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
They'll be like cornering you, like,
Yeah.
"What?"
That's where you'll be looking in your rearview mirror, seeing who's following you.
You sure
Yeah.
got a pretty mouth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, we're watching. Don't worry. We're tracking
Yeah.
you. Don't worry.
Unfortunately, you'll be able to locate with the body, but that doesn't stop the body from becoming the body, though. So,
Right. Yeah, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to follow this end of the case. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm following the other side of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of on the wait for what you have to offer on that part because we don't really get to see that stuff. I wish they would put it out because I'd have been covering it left and right, but it's just not out
I
there.
feel like one of the things that I do good, I don't know, people liked this last time, but when I was in the Koberger plea deal and the sentencing, I gave a lot of personal stories about like the drug sniffing dog that went through the line and the officers and what they said to people, and people liked my giving them boots on the ground, like this is what it really felt like to be there that day. And so I'm going to try to do that for people on this as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I think that's fascinating. That kind of personal stories.
It gives people like a visual of for those of us that can't be there in person to see it. It gives people a visual to be able to relate to in their mind. I agree.
And here's another thing that I can do, and this is another thing I can do that people, as long as I don't name jurors, as long as I don't name them, I can even tell you things like the jury looks like they're checking out, or one of the ladies on the jury cried, or at this. I can tell you things that the jurors did as long as I don't identify who the juror was. And so that's, again, something that you can only get by somebody who's in the courtroom. So if I have a certain level of trust from my audience that I will tell them factual stuff and they trust me, I can say, look, I'm telling you, I'm in the trial. It looks like the jury's turning on her, or the jury's turning on Ben Fields. I can give those kind of analysis and give my opinions about how I feel the jury is reacting to the testimony. So
it's a good idea. Very good idea.
Yeah.
So all I can say is, hopefully, I guess hopefully the trial happens, for her sake. Hopefully she gets a settlement at the end, and and I'm there for a couple of days afterwards. So if the jury comes back with a verdict while I'm there, I'll be able to maybe even talk to a juror afterwards, right? Because once the verdict's been read then people can talk to the jurors. So maybe we'll have a chance to talk to the jurors as well. So we'll get a shot at that at least.
Yeah, that would be nice. Definitely.
Tickle Bitty says you could probably do phone calls. Lee, I don't know if they'll let you meet them inside the jail, but maybe that you could set up a phone call. Maybe they will. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Or maybe it'll be that old-fashioned sitting on the side from a piece of plexiglass between the two of us, and we can sit there and have a conversation. But yeah, there may be an option. The question comes in comfort level. Like, do you trust going into a jail right next to a sheriff's department that's literally being accused of murdering people. Like, do you feel comfortable going into that kind of situation and saying, hey, I want to come in here and look to see if inmates want to tell their stories about how you're murdering people? So, yeah.
What
Yep.
would be awesome is if you could get a one-on-one with Mr. Mickey Steins himself.
That would be very, very awesome. And that's a good question. I don't know. Now that you mention it, I don't know what detention center he's being kept at. I would be surprised. Well,
I think he's in the next county over, isn't he?
I don't imagine they would put him in Letcher County jail. He would have to be maybe in Pike County, maybe.
I think,
I don't know.
if I remember correctly, when they transported him the day of, they took him to. It was only like 15-minute ride. So what's that closely?
I think Pike County is that close.
I think I remember hearing that name, so that very well could be. So yeah, I think that might be where he's at.
Tiggle says he's going to London, Kentucky. So I'll be in London. Maybe I'll get to drop by and see him. And maybe Cash Patel from the FBI will still be there when I'm dropping in. So we'll see.
That would be one hell of an interview right there.
I don't think
Not
he's
that
going to
you
do
could
an
get to him, right?
I don't think he's going to do an interview on that one. Yeah. But it would be that would be amazing. But yeah,
You should have printed out one of those media press passes to wear around your neck before you left.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Like some courts treat the media as exactly the same as the public, right? So there's no special privilege for media, and then sometimes they have like a certain number of seats that are open for the media. And I have not been able to even find the rules of the courthouse to see if they have a special seat. In the Koberger trial, it was first come, first serve, and Hitler specifically said, I'm not going to argue about who's media and who's not. So it's first come, first serve. Because again, it's the YouTube phenomenon, right? Like he wasn't going to argue about whether CNN gets preference over a YouTuber when they're both claiming to be media. So he's just like, I'm not going to go there. Like, it's first come, first serve.
Right.
Yeah.
That could be too. Michelle Davis said, is he in Clay County jail?
Maybe. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have my team help me round that shit up when I'm on flights. Spinning wheels.
That's the way it works.
Yep.
So what's the deal with Guthrie? Was there an update in Guthrie today? No? Okay.
No, not really. No. Nothing works.
I did see a big article. I didn't read it all through. It was talking about genetic genealogy is going to be used in the Guthrie case. They didn't specifically list Othram, but I know that's where that's going. So
they did already once. They brought Othram into this about a week ago, and I already projected it. So one show, I said, I promised you guys, Othram's going to get involved. They will. So yeah,
they're going to have a big year.
I am confused about something with that, because there's been some conflicting stuff about the DNA. On one hand, they're saying, Othram is doing this, and then it was about a week ago, I think they said something like it's going to be a year until some of that stuff comes back, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, they did say it could be up to a year, a month, or even a year before any of this stuff comes back, depending on how they run it. And I'm like, no.
How many miles away was the glove they found? Was it 2 miles away from the crime scene, or was it even further?
2.5.
2 miles.
It was like 2.5. Yeah.
I'm still baffled how they can maintain a glove found 2 miles from the crime scene as part of the crime scene, but a glove found in the parking lot of a quadruple homicide is not part of the crime scene. How do you even do that and keep a straight face?
I'm right there with you. They did bring forth a video of a car that they believe that could very likely be a vehicle involved in this. It's a white Kia Soul, the hamster car, the little square box looking thing.
Suspect vehicle 1.
Yeah, basically. Yes. And you want to know what's crazy with this case? Oh my God. That's one. One of the cars that was towed that belonged to Lucas Daly's mother, it was a white SUV. And the car that they pulled over when they pulled Carlos over was a white vehicle as well. Now we have this one. So all other the parallels are killing me. It's crazy.
Right. Well, I mean, wasn't there like something like 20,000 registered white Elantras in that area at the time of the, it was a ridiculous
Yeah.
number. It was like 14 to 20,000. I forgot. Even when JJ and I drove the neighborhood, there was probably 20 white 4-door sedans in that neighborhood.
Yeah, they were everywhere. Every other
They were
car we
everywhere.
saw parked on the street was a white sedan.
It's
Right.
crazy.
Which again is why, yeah, just a ginormous amount of fuckery in that case. Like, as the defense stated, it should have been up to the jury to decide if this vehicle is the same vehicle that is this vehicle, right? Instead, what they did is they labeled it and said, here you see this vehicle, suspect vehicle 1, and here you see it again, and here you see it again. And the defense was like, that's prejudicial. You can't tell the jury that that's the same car. They have to decide for themselves if that's the same car or not. Because there's 20 white cars that are 4-door sedans in that neighborhood alone at that time. So, yeah.
Right, because judges aren't supposed to testify in a trial. So you can't just, instruct it. This is the same car. It's, can't do
Yeah.
that.
I'm telling you, the Franks hearing that didn't happen is major exculpatory information. The Brady violations, major exculpatory information. They've got exculpatory information for days. All it requires is the post-conviction relief to be filed, and I think they've got a million avenues personally. But
Yeah.
and it's gonna be interesting. I mean, we're still waiting. Everybody keeps talking about the rumor. That the rumor seems to be coming from really good sources, and everybody keeps saying they've got really good sources, and we wait. And again, I said that I wouldn't be surprised that they would wait until next to the last day to file post-conviction relief, just so they can make sure they have it all before they go forward. So is it really coming soon, or is it that the decision is made now, but they're going to wait until the last minute? Like maybe people are hearing that the decision's been made, they're going to, but maybe they're still collecting the information. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I would guess. I mean, why would you go early if you've got another 6 months to find exculpatory information or to find Brady violations? Why not take the full 6 months? Why would you go early?
Agreed.
Well, you got to time everything.
Other than you've got a client that's in jail, right? So you got a client that wants out of jail, then you got to move faster, I guess, on his behalf. But
Absolutely.
sorry, what'd you say, JJ?
I was just going to say, I mean, again, I'm just coming from my perspective. If there's higher level fuckery going on, they'll time it. They're in cahoots with the media, so they'll time it so it gets each strategic placement of different cases will get the maximum amount of coverage.
It's funny. Somebody had just recently said when we were talking about if the PCR or the post-conviction relief gets filed, you watch, the media is going to spin it like they knew it was coming all along. It could be like, see, we knew this was coming. Like, really did you though?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nice.
Leslie County. So Sheriff Steins is in Leslie County Correctional Facility. Leslie. Okay.
Good
Again, the problem with visiting him is they have to know who I am. I don't think I wrote a letter to Mickey anyways, and he would have to have put me on the list. It's not something you just drop by.
Yeah. Right. Hey, Angel D, good to see you.
Welcome.
I haven't seen Angel in a long time. That's the reason why I said that. Yeah, you have to be on a list preempted before you can, and approved on that list before you can actually set up like visitation and stuff. So that would be an issue, I think.
Yeah. Yep. And different jails have different rules. Like media can't necessarily, like in some states or some jails, the media can't reach out and ask for it. They have to be a friend or a family, and so they kind of work around that too. Like a friend or a family will contact their loved one in jail and say, hey, someone from the media wants to talk to you. You need to tell them that they're a friend of yours, and then they can come see you. But
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to say in the Rex Heuermann case in New York, Josh Zeman said he met Rex Heuermann for the first time, and I can't remember what the circumstances were. That did you happen to see that? I know Robin, you and Essie follow that a lot. Do you remember Josh Zeman saying he met Rex Heuermann for the first time just recently?
I did not see that recently. No, I have not. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I can't
Wow.
remember if he met him as in he just happened to be in the same courthouse with him, and that's how he met him, or whether he literally got a chance to talk to him. I don't know. But I remember seeing a little clip on YouTube where he was saying, "Hey, I just got to see Rex Heuermann for the first time, or meet with Rex Heuermann for the first time."
Oh. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, F said she follows it so close, but she didn't see that.
Well, that's why I thought you guys would know, but again, I just saw it in passing, so I don't know if it's a thing or not.
I was just looking to see if it was like a short maybe he put out.
It was. I think it was a short. Yeah.
Okay.
And it probably has the title Rex Heuermann on it. So yeah,
Right.
and it was only like in the last few days, so it might be easy to find. But by
Yeah.
the way, I saw the clip. By the way, Birdie Bombshells. I was catching up on some of the other creators, and Birdie showed. Did you guys see the clip that Birdie pulled out from PBS News talking about all the kids that were shot that night? He pulled out, it was a 20-second clip from PBS and said, and it was talking specifically about, this is a reminder about gun violence on campus, that 4 kids were shot and killed in Moscow, Idaho, and they showed the neighborhood of the King Road residents, and PBS said 4 kids shot and killed on that night. So where'd that come from? Like,
wow.
I was like, wow, like there it is. Like, and Bertie said he had to look all over to get it, but he finally found it.
Wow.
And so I watched it, and sure enough, it was there.
That is crazy.
That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
saw that clip, and maybe there was information that came out early that they buried after the fact, because they wanted to shift the narrative. And
Sure.
I've said that I thought that it's very plausible and probable that a gun was used in some capacity. And look, man, I just look at it real simple. Why are they lying about so many things? Right? If they're lying about one thing, as far as I'm concerned, they could be lying about every single thing.
Yeah, because I think you're right, because it's the in for a penny, in for the pound thing, right? Once they had to lie about one major thing, then they had to lie about a whole bunch of things, because they're screwed for the cover up. As somebody has famously said, don't make the cover up worse than the actual crime. So if they covered something up in the early stages, they're in for the long haul.
I said something on my show today because I kind of went in a little bit about with Bethany and Dylan what the hell's actually going on here after we've already reviewed the text messages and a whole bunch of other shit. But anyway, the point I said was, at some point it makes you wonder if the crime happened, because there was other things put out about an overdose, the shooting, the stabbing,
Yeah.
a bunch of other shit. Okay. It makes me wonder if, and this is all purely alleged speculative theory, folks, based on what we know. And completely my opinion. So it makes you wonder if they were trying to find something that would stick. Okay. If they rolled through multiple, they had 8 hours, mind you, to find the right thing that would stick. Okay. As far as a reason for what happened. Was it an overdose? And oh shit, we can't let that get out because that's going to cause this, and this. So let's make it this. Was it a shooting, and then so we have to cover it up with this and make it look this way? There was multiple angles that I was pointing at today when I said that, and it's like we don't know. This very well could explain exactly why this happened, as far as the covering up thing goes and the secrecy and all that shit. Because when it happened, whatever it actually was, if it's not the actuality of the stabbing or whatever, for whatever reason, it was going to cause more problems than what these things would per se. And they didn't anticipate us, obviously, to be looking through everything and point out, hey, that's not right. Hey, that's not right. Hey, that's not right. To be able to work these things out. Sorry, guys.
It's. I remember the Gonzalez's also saying that they got a phone call that the kids were shot. Remember that was one of the
Yes.
early things as well.
Yes.
But here's the thing: like, to play devil's advocates, I do know this. It's possible that one person said it, right? And then the game of telephone kicks in, and then false information
Absolutely.
starts going out there. So did even one person say all these kids got shot because they heard that they heard the kids got killed, and then they on their own made up the I can't believe somebody shot all those kids, and then that gets picked up by PBS, and PBS runs with it. 4 kids were just shot, and then that gets called to the family. Hey, 4 kids were shot, and all it became is one person
Right.
who just heard that 4 kids got killed and guessed that it was a shooting, and everybody started repeating it in the early stages, and that happens a lot in the early stages. False information gets out very, very quickly.
Absolutely.
And it could be honestly be. I mean, it could be that. It could be the telephone thing where it's early on that rumor goes around and then it gets perpetuated and then it gets shut down. But another thing that I have said in the past is that Idaho is a very pro-gun state, right? You don't even need a permit to conceal carry in Idaho. And it could very well be, it's just a possibility that they didn't want the political drama attached to the case about a quadruple shooting. And so they made a decision to bury that part of the story, figuring, wow, what's the difference, right?
Right.
If they were killed, they were killed. It doesn't matter how it happened.
Right.
We don't need all the attention from all the advocates for gun control and so on and so on. Again,
Especially
I'm
on
not
campus. Yeah.
I'm just stating that as a possibility.
And
Right.
that could have been because there was the statement that was made about I think you just said it, how Christy had stated that their niece called, said, "Hey, did you heard from
Yeah.
Kaylee? This is what I heard happened." We had the interview with Dave where he's saying he got messages or whatever stating that this is what happened, and then it was this, and then it went back to this, and then finally they get to this point. So this is on a university campus, basically. Okay, it's in a small town that has a reputation per se, which again all relates back to the possibility as to why this was covered up in the first place. Okay, because the main thing I think is to protect the integrity of the university. Period.
Right.
That's one of the main things in my opinion. Or there were two parallel investigation, or there were sorry, there was a parallel investigation being run by 2 other agencies and on campus at this time that this happened. And another problem or a worry could have been that if this comes out, this could completely fuck up this investigation that we're running right here. In turn, we need to make this look something like something else. You know what I'm saying? So
And,
yeah,
and the reality is, I have seen a lot of news stories about a shooting where media immediately starts saying an assault rifle was used, and then later on you find out it wasn't an assault rifle, but they immediately jump on a shooting today happened, and as I understand it, it's another one of these assault rifles, right? And no, it wasn't. This was a bolt action rifle. Oh, okay, damn it, I thought it was an assault rifle. We had story, so they always
right, because if
absolutely,
that's a political hot button. So AR-15s are the bad, evil gun that they always want to regulate, which they're doing it now in Colorado. And I think I even heard that in the Charlie Kirk case. At one point, somebody on the news said it was an AR-15 early on because they just talk shit.
I heard that in the Charlie. I was going to tell you that. I heard that in the Charlie Kirk case. The first thing I heard was it was an assault rifle that was used. By the way, is my sound better on this cheapy headphone? Are you telling me my sound is better on the cheapy headphone than my nice expensive microphone at home? Anyways,
yes.
But yeah, I heard that as well.
Well, there's an interesting some interesting bits of information are kind of bubbling up now regarding the whole Tyler Robinson thing. It's kind of been sort of breaking news, so to speak. A couple of content creators, Baron Coleman, and it was repeated and basically reported on by Valhalla VFT, who they've been following that case from day one. That Valhalla VFT is a retired Green Beret.
Yes.
And the Green Berets use bomb sniffing dogs. And one of the things that happened regarding finding the rifle is they had bomb sniffing dogs, which they can smell, firearms that were fired.
Yeah.
And there
Right.
were bomb sniffing dogs within a very close proximity to where they found the rifle after the fact.
Right.
And when the bomb sniffing dogs were there, they were 10 feet away from where
Yep.
that gun was found later on, as soon as the FBI showed up, is when they found that rifle. Whereas they had bomb sniffing dogs on site. And Valhalla VFT was saying, he gave an anecdote about how good those dogs are, and that when he was on a tour of duty, they had to go and clear a house. It might have been Iraq or Afghanistan. I don't recall, but there was a house that was empty. And one of the things the dogs would do is when they would bring them into an area, if they smelled the presence of a firearm or a bomb, they sit down over the spot where they detected. Well, these guys like ripped up the carpet and the flooring, and they dug away like 1 foot down and found a trap door that went 20 feet down, and there were bombs in this like secret cellar. All right, so from 20 feet underground, under like 2 to 3 feet of soil, they smelled it. And so their whole argument was there's no chance. His exact words were, it is impossible that they had bomb sniffing dogs 10 feet away from where the rifle was found.
If it had been fired, they would have smelled it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it just miraculously, when the FBI shows up, they find the rifle.
And they didn't. Yeah. So what that's basically stating is that rifle that they found was not fired.
Was planted. Right.
Yeah.
Or the one that they found was planted because the dogs didn't hit on the fired rifle until the FBI showed up. Right. Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. The dogs never hit on it. The FBI found it.
The FBI did. So the dogs never even hit on. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Conveniently found it. Yeah. Nobody. And who's the witness? Who witnessed it, JJ? Who witnessed them finding the rifle?
Right. And I think the other sort of piggyback to that was they did have bomb sniffing dogs there early, right away, and then after the fact. And so that gun was not fired. That they found, quote unquote, was not fired.
See,
and it's a pretty big deal because the whole premise of Tyler Robinson's alleged guilt is based on the fact that he used that bolt action rifle and left it there.
More fuckery.
Yeah.
100%.
I know I was going to say, I forgot about this earlier, and we're backing up a little bit to the Nancy Guthrie situation. It's just a real quick snippet of info that I thought was kind of interesting earlier. Brian Enton posted to his Twitter. I went looking for like updates to talk about while we were on the verdict room earlier. And there was 4 minutes before I had looked at that, there was a post put up there that said, this has been canceled due to coverage of the war. And he said, don't worry, I'm still here in Tucson and I will be keeping up on this, so on and so forth. And we'll see you all soon. I went, oh, wow. So that's real interesting to me that now all of a sudden the Nancy Guthrie case hit a brick wall because of this shit going on. More distraction. Okay. More distraction.
Yeah.
So,
right. Yeah. There was a political assassination right today.
some big deal happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it the Ayatollah Khomeini, like from Iran?
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, the war is basically started.
Yes. Yeah, we're at war as of now. So
yeah, last night I was going to sleep, and I was like about to shut my phone off, and I saw Ian Carroll posted footage and like right after it was announced and showing the bombing in Tehran. So yeah, not good.
I had a flashback to, was it 1991?
Yeah.
When Desert Storm shit started. Yeah, I remember that shit like
Yeah, me
yesterday.
too,
So
man. I remember it
Yeah.
really, really well.
Yeah, so
absolutely,
the headline is about Iran's supreme leader killed, Ayatollah Khamenei
yes,
killed today. So that was the big, and that's probably what interrupted the Guthrie case, right?
it did, and that's going to be every reporter is going to be going that direction now. And Nancy Grace, or Jesus, sorry, Nancy Guthrie is going to be put on the back. It's going to be put on the back burner, and
Yeah,
I have a feeling that within the next week she's just going to appear somewhere now, and it's not going to get put out. It's not going to be anything. It's not going to be a big deal, and boom, and that's weird. That's just weird.
you think she's still
Yeah.
alive? You think she's still
No,
alive?
I'm not saying she's going to be
Oh,
alive. I just feel like
okay.
they'll
Yeah, I
find
don't.
her within the
Yeah,
next week, and it'll. My gut feeling says she's gone, sadly, but I would
yeah,
love for her to be alive.
I don't think she's alive.
I
No, I don't
predict
think
she's
so.
alive. I think she's
You do?
alive.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That would be
Yep.
awesome, Joe. JJ,
I
absolutely.
mean, that's just my gut feeling is that she'll turn up after now that they've exhausted the reporting and the interest is focused on something else. They
Well,
milked it for as much as they can. They got
Yep.
the narrative out there, the DNA, IgG, and
and
they
look what
got
they're
the
yes, thank you. Exactly, JJ. And look what they've done, you guys. They're slowly but surely moving the media back away from her, okay?
Yeah,
From her
yeah.
house and the whole case. They've done that. And then boom, this comes out today. They took him out, unfortunately. This is gonna be a big deal, folks. This is
huge
the
deal.
Ayatollah. That's huge. That's huge, okay?
Iran is massive.
Yes.
People like for people that don't know, I'm not like a geopolitics expert, but it's not like Afghanistan or it's way bigger than Iraq.
And
And they
you wanna
have
know
nuclear weapons
Right.
more
They're more advanced on the nuclear front, right?
and
right,
you
way
wanna
more.
know there was a warning given to me. This is crazy as shit now that I think about this. There was a warning given to me by a source, which I'm not going to get into that, but that said things are going to go crazy. Pay close attention to the news. Shit's going to get real here soon. And I'm like, I wonder. Today this happens, and I went, what the fuck? Like, wow. And
Yeah.
here it is. You know what I mean? Here it is. So
Well,
that's
right
insane.
right before October 7th happened in Israel, I was communicating with somebody and it was like 4 days before. And there was like a lot of Ukraine fatigue. So people were kind of getting sick of the whole Ukraine thing and
Yeah.
arguing about it and talking about it. So the media started pulling down on the Ukraine thing. And I texted this person and I said, something big is about to happen.
Right.
And 4 days later, I wake up on a Saturday or Sunday morning and I see all over about the attack on October 7th. And
Mhm.
it just always seems, if you pay attention, that when one big high profile thing starts dying down, another one happens
Right.
shortly after.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. This is going to be nothing's going to exist right now for a while except for this. Okay, nothing. The Idaho 4 case, the Nancy Guthrie situation, any of that other shit is just going to disappear. It's going to go into the background, and whatever things go on with that will be. We won't know about it unless we're
Well,
staying focused on that. We'll stay
let's.
focused.
I was going to say, let's clarify. Mainstream media will
Yeah,
shit.
mainstream media. I'm sorry, I should
YouTube
have
true
said that.
crime channels are going to still be where they're at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll stay focused on it, but like in mainstream or whatever you want to call it, that's where
Yeah.
everybody's and that's where most people are. They will stay focused on that shit while we're over here still looking at this, watching all these other things unfold that are
Right.
going to probably happen during this situation because this is what it always does. Always.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And something that I always say when it comes to the bigger, really big things like this is
Yeah.
huge.
Oh,
This
big
is
time.
bigger than big. This is like what people have been fearing for years. The elites in the power structure, they think in terms of decades, right?
Right, right.
So they make their plans 10 years, 15 years in advance, and they plan things out. And most people, regular people, decent people, we're not thinking how are they going to screw the world over in 10 years? You know, we're just thinking we're living our lives. Some of us probably are more informed than others, but the elites, they are planning things out years and years in advance. And this Iran thing has been talked about, the elites on the, you know, military industrial complex and so on, the war hawks, they have been chomping at the bit to go to war with Iran for a very long time.
Yeah, and you know, that's good point, Joe. But you know what else is convenient too, though, folks? What else is really big going on right now that everybody's making a really big damn deal about? There's testimonies from big people that are going on right now, and then this happens, the Epstein
Oh
bullshit
yeah,
happens.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so think about that too. That's
of
another thing that's
course,
going to take by the
dude.
wayside.
It's never underestimate, you know, what the elites are capable of. Like,
Right?
I'm not a history expert, but I know that there's like an old story that a king like started a war because he was, I forget the story. Somebody could probably knows it, where like he started a war because of some stupid like personal thing that the king wanted to
Yeah,
distract from. He literally started a war and got, you know, all his most of his people killed just to distract from something. And
exactly,
that's the
exactly.
game, man. We're living in a simulation in the sense that everything is very carefully orchestrated, and you know, most people don't realize how well it's orchestrated.
Everything in our lives, folks. This is something I learned a while back, and I agree with Joe, and I'm sure he'll agree with this as well. Everything in about our lives and within our lives is all premeditated by for us ahead of time, folks. Period. That's just how it is. You know, that's the way it's always been, in my opinion, and that's just the way it's always going to be because that way that ensures the control that they need to have to keep and to run the way they do. Period. And
Yeah,
again,
man. I mean, it's interesting you say that, because I say this all the time. All the world's a stage, right? We're living in a theater show, and a lot of what we're told, probably for most of our lives, you learn later on is total bullshit. You know, it was a narrative that we were all handed, and you know, you're growing up, you're living your life, you're not really digging into things.
yeah.
I certainly wasn't when I was young. And then later on, you find out, oh, that was completely false. You know, there's these narratives that we were fed about different things, important things, history, and so on.
Right. Seahawk said another distraction for the Epsteinth time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the way it works, you guys. Truly. I'm not surprised. I'm kind of surprised that it was this big because this is monstrous, folks. This is not just a oh well, they did this, then it'll be gone tomorrow. This is fucking huge. Truly, because of who this was. It's monstrous. And you know, there's other things I've been reading about this little by little by little that you know people on the west, which is us, and that all the friendly areas around here are in some senses going to be targeted. So you know, I'm not saying anything's going to happen. I'm just saying keep your eyes open, keep your head on a swivel, and pay attention. That's all I'm saying. Because there's people that live within our country here that are here for reasons. Okay, they're. I'm not trying to go all 007 or nothing weird, but there's you know sleeper cells and things like that that are here in this country waiting for today to happen. Period. That's all I'm saying. So
I'm with you on that, Diego. And, you know, I can't, I'm not even exaggerating when I say the elites. When I say the elites, I'm talking about the power
of
structure, the
course, yes,
bankers, the, you know, all that stuff. If people don't think that they would allow the death of many innocent people just to forward their agendas or distract from other things that are major and so on, you're not paying attention, because it's been done throughout history.
that's how 9/11 unfolded in that aspect. We had people here that I know for a fact that were put here to do certain things when 9/11 happened. That's an absolute fact that I found out the hard way. I'm not going to get into why right now, but it happened in front of me. So I'll just tell you, it's real, folks. It does happen.
Yeah.
And they'll
Um,
they'll be here for years. Did Leaf fall out the window, by the way?
Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna say, he messaged me that it totally crashed on him. He's not sure if he's gonna be able to get back in or not. So,
Okay.
but yeah.
But no, yeah, I just was gonna say, and I'll move along with what I was saying, that like it definitely is real. It happens all the time. And you know, we just don't see these things until we see these things. That's all. So
Yep.
moving on. Poorly.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's gonna make it back or not, depending
I'm
on.
surprised he lasted this long in it.
Yeah,
I know. I
agree.
wasn't sure how that was gonna work. Something tells me he's not gonna make it back.
If it crashed completely, there probably something went down. Probably.
Yeah. He was gonna try, but it may not, you know. And I know he was gonna have to go soonish anyway because of when he was waiting to find out exactly like what gate and stuff like that he was gonna be at, and they hadn't announced it yet. So
Right. Right.
that's interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. But you guys want
So I wonder what the next case will be that Othram gets him.
That's a good point. That's a good
It's like,
question, actually.
I mean, it is because so now okay. So now they were involved in Guthrie. There's talks of them trying, helping with John Bonet. Maybe we need them to get into Kurt Cobain. I mean,
At this point, you never
not
know.
that
They
I'm
might.
trying to involve them, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't
The way
trust Othram as far as I could
Oh, I don't
throw him.
either. No,
No, and at this point,
but
the
I'm just
way,
saying.
yeah, the way the Cobain case is starting to open up again, you never know, Robin. It very well could happen.
I think it will.
Well,
I think
see,
you're right, Robin. I honestly think you're right. I think that's going to happen. When
yeah,
when we went to CrimeCon, I knew nothing about Othram Labs, really, not just cursory, like how they were involved with the case. And when Kristen Middleman was up there with what's her name, Chapin, Stacy
Stacey.
Chapin.
Stacey, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I go by gut instinct, and I'm like, I don't trust the Middleman chick. She's just too. It's just too like, I don't know, man. Something just seemed off.
I never trusted her
Yeah.
either. Yeah, I agree with you. There's something about the way she presents herself that just automatically made me, like stand back and put the wall up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and so you were saying, I think it was you last night, Dago. You were talking about how Savannah Guthrie is she going to be, if Othram somehow leads to the discovery of where Nancy is, or brings the killer I'm so sorry, people. I'm just sorry. Allegedly, whatever. At this point, I don't feel that she is with us on this earth any longer. So I'm
No, I
sorry.
agree. I
But
agree.
the perpetrator of, if they somehow bring him to justice, or whatever, are they going to get Savannah Guthrie to hop on and be a spokesperson for them as well? Are they going to go around and collect people from Ohio? If they end up solving John Bonet, are they going to get John Bonet's dad to,
The Ram,
John
I
Ramsey
already,
to,
yes.
I mean,
I
he's
think
already been. I mean,
I think that's the ploy and the plan, Robin, is that now we're going to have Savannah Guthrie as a spokesperson, not to mention the mother of one of the four of the worst murder in history in a long time. Okay. We have
right.
Stacey Chapin. We have Savannah Guthrie. They're going to go after, Jesus, I always forget his first name, but if they still help in that case, then we got Mr. Ramsey on our as our mouthpiece now too. You add these people to
Hmm.
your platform, and then let them all go out and do their job, so we can sit back and go, thank you. Here we are again. That's what I foretold last night. That's exactly what I think's happening.
I think the
Yeah.
long play, the long game, and we'll see if I'm right, in time. The long play is going to be use these people to manufacture consent for the public to want to sign up for this DNA
Yes.
database.
Yes.
Right. And I
Yeah.
think that is the long play. It goes right in line with predictive policing, domestic surveillance. It's right in line with that. And the government's already pushing those things. They're already pushing surveillable digital currencies and digital IDs. That all, you lump that all together, they've been pushing for a surveillance state for quite a while now. And I think that's the long play. Now, again, most people don't think about things in the long play terms, the long game, but these people do. The elites do.
Hmm.
And so that is my prediction, what we're going to see. It might not be like in the next few months. It could be after they establish this as an accepted thing in the media with people that have some visibility. And then eventually they will start. They're already starting to do it, but I think they're going to continue to do it.
Yeah. Yep. So, but it's just, you know, here we go. When I was a young one, I'm gonna start sounding like that. But we didn't have all this crap to deal with. I don't know how young people today are doing it. It's crazy to me,
We're living in times the likes of which I never could have imagined.
right? And I know how that sounds, and it's not like we're old. I mean, I'm 54, so it's not like I'm 85 or whatever. But but it is really crazy how much things have, and I'm sure a lot of people out there in the chat never, both chats can agree that these are crazy things we never thought like cases back then were not like the cases are now.
No.
There is everything's a zigzag. There's no straight line.
Well, because it's like at some point, we all know like the central banks, and since the creation of the Federal Reserve, the world dramatically changed, certainly in the United States. But if you look at the power that these global investment banks have now, they have their hands in literally every single aspect of people's lives. They're
Right.
buying up residential property. They have
Yep.
controlling shares in most of the largest corporations, and so like they have the voting rights. If they have enough shares in these every major food production, energy production, big pharma, big tech, all the major impactful institutions, right? Universities, because you deal with the financing aspect of college. The world is not supposed to be like that. And,
Right.
you know, uh, people say, people that are like business people. I have some friends and family members. They're business people. Like they've been doing business for their whole adult life. So they look at it differently. They look at the markets, they look at how it's going to impact their investments. They look at, you know, if you're doing really well financially, like really well, you're, at least couple hundred grand a year and up, you don't want to
Hmm.
change things because your
No.
investments are crushing it and you're doing great, right?
Right.
So that's where part of that friction comes in because they're not looking at the long game of AI. They're not looking at the long game of a surveillance state. They're not looking at it because they're doing great financially.
Yeah. Um. Now we're going to move into right now because we're going to move into this line of thinking because there's no other real updates with our typical cases or whatever. But I have kind of they have really made us dependent on technology. Can you imagine? I mean, people try to live off grid, but anymore today, I mean, I love watching those videos and stuff, but really, how sustainable anymore is living off grid for most people? Because you've got to have money to even set yourself up to do that. I
Yeah.
mean, you're muted, Dago.
Right. I'm sorry about that. Yeah,
Okay,
I agree
that's
with
right.
that. I do. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean it's really, I mean, it's crazy. Um I see what houses are selling for where I live, and it's insane. Like a regular house
Yeah,
that somebody, paid a couple of $100,000 for is selling for over $1 million now. Like not a big house. It's like a regular sized house.
yeah,
It's how can a normal person, when the housing costs are making us have been making a steep curve, but
Mhm.
and the cost of living making a steep curve, but incomes have not made a steep curve unless
no,
you're at the top of the scale, the top 1%, right? They've gotten
yeah,
exponentially wealthier. You can't you can't live. I live in one of the most expensive counties in the whole country. It's insane. I'm just a regular working dude. And
yeah,
I have to work and do side hustles, to live where I live. And it's sad. It's scary because this is all very deliberate. Because what happens when people can't afford to live, and then guess what the government's going to do? Oh, don't worry, everybody. AI is going to take care of everything. We'll give you like some sort of universal basic income, and it'll be great. You don't have to worry. But guess what? If people start making money based on universal basic income, they're going to know exactly how much people are making, and they're going to raise prices accordingly. So
Yes.
people can never get ahead. They can't, I
right.
guarantee you, this is what will happen. People are not going to be able to buy whatever they want, live wherever they want. They're going to put restrictions on what you can buy, what you can't buy, when you can
Yeah.
travel, when you have to stay in, when you can drive, when you can't. They're already pushing for this.
Yes.
So the
Yep.
game is rigged and has been for a long time, but it's exponentially escalated in the last 5 years.
That's why they haven't
Yeah.
attempted to fix any of the issues and the problems, if you've noticed, because they just if they fix it, then their plan is spoiled. Okay, if they fix it, then the things they want to do are not needed. So, in turn, in my opinion, they just keep allowing certain things to happen the way they are, because then at some point they're not going to have any choice but to step in, and then when they step in, it's lockdown time. That's where that's gonna play
Well,
out, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
and the Russell Means, who
Yeah,
was okay. I watched. I love that man. He said this was a documentary I watched with him several years ago. He said, uh, essentially, for those who don't know, Russell Means was an incredible Native American activist, and he was talking like from Native American community to the rest of our society here, saying, "Guess what? You're all now living on the next reservation."
right. Yeah,
And if you stop and think about that, it's like you said, Dago. That's what's happening. They're taking away this. They're deciding this for us the same way that they did with and are still doing with the reservations. It's the same
yes,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
and the saddest thing is, and I've said this before, I'm kind of a grouch sometimes. I'm not like Mr. Pie in the sky. But if we were more united, people didn't
Hmm.
fall for the right versus left bullshit,
yes,
a lot of
Yeah.
these things, believe me, would not be happening because they can't manufacture consent unless
Yeah.
people are divided.
Right.
and the
Four
only
percent
way, yeah,
It's all it takes,
Absolutely.
4% to withhold your dollars.
And it's sad. It's very sad to me that there has to be some form of a horrific disaster that happens to bring us all back to where we're supposed to be, just like it did in 9/11. Everybody came together. It was one of the most amazing forms of unity I've ever seen in my life. I was so very proud of that. And within months,
Yep.
that was it. We did what we needed to do when we needed to do it until it was done. And then we moved back to, and it got worse. It got worse and it got worse and it got worse. And I preached constantly about unity and about why we are all we have, folks. That's why I don't put up with people talking down to each other in my chats. I mean, what I'm talking about is minimal, but it all leads to something. Okay, you got to start somewhere. So preaching positivity and unity with each other and supporting each other. We can all disagree about things. That's fine. But
Sure.
in the end, we need to support each other from one
That's
end to
right.
the other, folks. Period. No matter what the
And I mean,
situation.
it's critical now. Like
It is.
I've been preaching this for years. Like you don't have to agree. I disagree with people vehemently on certain issues, but the reality is the whole divide and conquer play has been in effect for a very long time,
Yeah.
and they
Right.
use it as a tool. And there's very, very sophisticated psychological operations that take
Yes.
place. I mean, we have a law on the books that allows the government to propagandize citizens. I mean, why do you think they're doing that? Not because they want good things for people. It's because they want to have the capacity to keep us divided and confused and frustrated and depressed and angry.
No,
Sorry.
I'm not saying a word, Rui.
Good one. Good
But
one.
you know what? With everything that we've been talking about, you guys, you want to know what's sad is this has been known going all the way back to the creators of this country, George Washington himself. I read a statement this man made, however long ago that was at this point, because I'm not good at math right now. But he said himself that if they chose to split this into Republican, Democrat type thing back, okay, it was different then, but whatever it was. When they chose to do that, that would be at one point the end and what would destroy our country. And that was when they
Mhm.
first created the country. Okay. When they put it
Mhm.
together and said, this is how it should be. If you choose to separate into different, sects or whatever you want to call it, that is what will destroy this country. And I'll be goddamn if how many years later, here we are. And that man himself knew that then. Okay. Because there were things starting then where they were trying to do that because people have different values and different ideals, and that's fine. Make them work together instead of separating everybody within the country because of that. That's always been the problem. So,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I was not big into history growing up. Like,
right,
I
right.
just whatever you had to learn, the stuff they spoon fed you
Yes,
in school.
yes.
But the book that I
Yeah.
just started reading, The Secret Founding of the United States,
Right.
which has a whole section, a pretty big section about Freemasons and what their role was in the founding of America. And I won't spoil it for anybody on here now, but there's some things in there that I was not aware of that if you
Oh,
read it,
wow. Wait a
you'll
minute,
be
guys. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I just got alerted on that too.
Okay.
Hold
Amanda
on a
says
minute.
Cash Patel has put the FBI on high national or high alert nationwide. I can't read over a potential terrorist threat in the United States. Oh shit.
Hold
I mean,
on one minute.
I was expecting that to
That's what I
happen.
was talking about earlier when I
Yeah.
said, give me 1 minute, I'll show you.
Got to
Okay.
keep everybody scared. Got to keep them scared. Got to keep them watching the news.
Absolutely. All right, give me one moment here. I have
Yeah. What and again, I'm I thought in order to do a lot of this like full scale shit, I mean, they don't call it war, but isn't it war? Doesn't Congress have to prove that shit?
yeah,
I don't
well,
get this. Or am I wrong?
I mean, there's like that's a real divisive topic. Like some people say it's been
Yeah.
Well, I
done.
know I shouldn't bring it up, but I'm
No,
just
no,
saying it's kind
I
of
don't
just
mean the bringing that up. I'm saying the thing that thing right now. There's people on one segment of the population are saying that it's a violation. Thomas Massey posted that last night that
Mm-hmm.
it's it's not approved by Congress. Then you'll have all these other people that are pro going to war with Iran will say, "Oh, well, look at all these other presidents that have gone to war without a declaration from Congress." So
So
it's
this,
you
yeah,
know,
agreed. And this says,
I don't like it. I'll just say that right out of the gate.
I
hmm
agree. FBI personnel are fully engaged on the situation overseas. Last night, I instructed our counterterrorism and intelligence teams to be on high alert and mobilize all assisting security assets needed. Our JTTFs throughout the country are working 24/7 as always to address and disrupt any potential threats to the homeland. While the military handles force protection overseas, the FBI remains at the forefront of deterring attacks here at home. And we'll continue to have our team work around the clock to protect Americans. Now, what I was saying to you without saying it earlier is exactly what he's talking about right now about sleeper cells and all that kind of bullshit. They will activate at times like this. So
right,
just be aware, folks, is all I was telling you. Keep your head on a swivel and your eyes open and your ears open and pay attention to things going on, because there are also people that are nobodies that will also act out in instances like this and claim to be people of
right.
attachment to this. So be aware is all I'm telling you. It happens all the time. Okay. So it's a real deal thing. It is a thing.
And somebody just said in the chat, it says
Thank you,
very
Aquarian.
upset 775. All wars are bankers' wars. It's all the
Yeah,
wise
Yeah.
old
Yes.
military experts and people in the know have said that for many, many years. All wars are bankers' wars. And Robin, I wasn't saying earlier that bringing it up was devices. I was just talking more specifically about, what people are saying online about, oh, it's
oh, okay,
this or it's
okay.
that. You know, um, I don't hold back from any topic on anything,
And
but
you know what's interesting is the warning I got came 2 days ago, and all they said was to pay very close attention to the news because some shit's about to happen. They knew exactly what they were saying, so and I'm grateful, because now it's kind of, I mean, not that it would have changed anything. It's just not a slap in the face now. So
Yeah,
yeah, I agree,
yeah,
Chris. I agree. Thank you again, Aquarian, for the super chat. God bless, and happy Saturday to you as well. You too. Please stay safe, all of you.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
and
Well,
that's
like you
that's
said, we
exactly
have
it
to stay
too.
vigilant.
Keep everyone scared. Keep the peasants scared. Make sure that everybody's in fear, and that's what they have to do it that way. They do.
when we were all growing up back in like the 80s, when it was the Cold War with Russia, you had to do those nuclear fallout drills and things, but you remember they used to always say, if you live in fear, then they win. Now it's the opposite. They want you to live in fear.
Yeah,
They want everybody on edge and what's happening next. Better watch the news. Oh, they're reporting this or reporting that.
yeah,
In my opinion, and I'm not someone who buries their head in the sand. I pay attention to things, but live your lives. Don't
yes,
let these fucks
no,
Right,
who are
no,
that's
getting
right,
rich right now, who are going to get exponentially richer from this
right,
military shit,
yes,
don't let them stop you from living your life. And, don't be glued to the quote unquote news,
yes.
because live your life, listen to great music, fucking work out, have fun, hang
Enjoy
out with
your
your
life. Enjoy
people.
your life. Yes, just be aware. That's all.
Yeah,
yep,
of course, always be aware.
And
But
that's how we would live anyway if this wasn't happening, folks. That's how I tell
right.
everybody. And to answer your question, Mittens, I just for safety reasons and just in general, it's better that I just put it out there the way I did and leave it alone. That's the way it's given to me. That's the way I give it to you. It's safer that way. So I'll just say, it's somebody that knows
What's this?
tons of drones.
Tons of drones in the sky where I am right now. Where are you?
Where
tiny
are
true
you?
crime mama?
Thank you, Mittens. Don't apologize. By no means apologize. I will tell you, it's somebody that knows what they're talking about because of what they do. I'll just leave it there. So, where do you live at? New Jersey
Tiny.
again. Jesus.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, oh boy.
Look,
Here we go
it's
again,
it-
and it
New
makes you wonder
Jersey.
if that's related from when they did it last summer. If it relates to this,
Right.
okay.
they're probably gonna say, because remember they never disclosed last time. They gave us a
Right.
bunch of horse shit because my family's back there, and they're grooming us, man. They're grooming us to accept to get habituated and desensitized to having surveillance drones flying overhead.
Do you live anywhere near a military outlet, Tiny Mama? Or Tiny True Crime Mama,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Absolutely, that's probably what it is, because I know on the
Yeah.
weekends, I live very close to a military installation, a large one that deals with mostly weaponry, and on the weekends, they do their drills and stuff, and they've been super, and I mean super active the past 2 days. Just put it that way, so they know.
Yeah, that shit's
That would
crazy.
make sense then.
Like a year and a half ago, right when like some of the shit overseas was ramping up,
Right.
in Ukraine and with Israel. Where I live, it's in the mountains, and that's where they do high altitude training for the military, right? So
Yeah.
this week, a lot of soldiers were skiing in their uniforms because they
Yep.
have special divisions that do high altitude and mountain operations. Well, about a year and a half ago, approximately, there were fighter jets flying so close to the ground, which you never see that, and helicopters swooping down literally like right above your head doing maneuvers. And they had like transport planes super low flying like right over your head. And in all the years I've lived out here, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
And
I get that every
it went
weekend.
on for about 2 weeks. So yeah, I was like, something's going down, man, because they would not have, I've never seen them do that.
Right. And
And
see,
this is like flying
Yeah.
over like a village, like not, this is the mountains. They could be anywhere.
right.
And they
And
were
Tiny,
flying right over the village, like just overhead. And it freaked me out. Cause I'm like, something's about to go down.
yeah, well, I'm used to that now. I just had like 20 minutes ago, one of the, I think it's a Huey that with the dual blades, the transport choppers flew over top. My whole house shakes, but they do that every weekend. It's just they've been more active for 2 days than normal. And she just said she's about an hour and 15 from Fort Dix. So there's probably your answer right there.
And you can't
not-
mistake those guys. Those military helicopters, you hear them from far away.
Your whole house moves them. Things are huge, but yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I hope that Lee's good and safe over there on being in an airport and stuff like that. So, especially flying.
Yeah.
Blackhawk. Yeah, they've been out doing their maneuvers, and the transports have been flying over. I live near Air Force Base as well. It's about the other direction from me, but yeah. Okay, 40 minutes. So that would be even better. True Crime Mama. That would explain it. They know, and like somebody else in chat said that she was talking to somebody that was deployed, said they were being deployed this week or something like that. They know when they're going. They know ahead of time when this is going to happen. Just like Joe said earlier,
Yeah.
it's all predetermined. So we're the last to know everything and to know the least, as always, and we always will be because we're unimportant. We're the peasants, like Joe says.
Yeah, I know. I joke
Unfortunately,
and
that's how it
stuff.
works.
Yeah, I'm sarcastic about it and stuff like that. But in reality, it's kind of how they look at us.
And here's the thing you guys got to get. Drones are now what we used to see as like drones, and not to be weird, but drones can control big shit now, okay?
Yeah.
They use drones
Oh,
to
yeah.
drop bombs, everything, guys. So where you're
Everything.
used to seeing like an invasion of choppers or fighter jets, you could see drones fly over and bad shit can still happen. Not over your area, but training exercises and stuff is what you're probably seeing, in my opinion. But
Did
they
you
do
did
use it
you
for
uh,
everything.
did you guys hear about the military drone that was shot down by a laser in Texas?
I think I did hear something about
No.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, this was like within the last day or two.
yeah.
In Hancock, Texas, a military drone was shot down with a laser. And it
Mhm.
was like one of our military drones. So they're either fucking around or they're trying to distract us.
Well, the laser thing is a whole new realm that they've been working on. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, I got it right here, actually. 1 second, you guys. This is kind of wild, to be honest with you. 1 second.
Tomboy Charm says Christy Nome has just put Homeland Security on the same alert as Patel. That makes sense. That
I knew that was
all
coming.
agencies are now going to be,
Yep.
on the same threat alert.
Can you pull that
Yeah.
up real quick, Robin?
I sure can.
All right, guys. This is what Joe's talking about right here.
Led to the Pentagon shooting down a Customs and Border Patrol. Stateside federal lawmakers are calling for an investigation after an apparent case of mistaken identity led to the Pentagon shooting down a Customs and Border Patrol drone in Texas. This then prompted the FAA to shut down airspace around Fort Hancock for several hours last night. Fort Hancock, about an hour south of El Paso, where a separate laser firing incident with CBP caused the FAA to issue a 10-day shutdown of El Paso Airport. That shutdown was later lifted about 8 hours later.
Now, I'm just going to tell you, that's what they're telling us. Remember that, okay?
Right.
That's
right.
all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yep.
It was an accident,
So,
mistaken identity. Yeah. Just
yeah.
keep your eye, just keep
Nothing
your
to
eyes
see
and
here.
ears. Right.
Yep.
Keep your
It's
eyes and ears open. That's all.
It's like, I mean, how fucked up are things right now, man? It's insane. It's crazy, man. When I was growing up in the 90s, when I was going to bars and stuff, nobody gave a shit about politics. People just hung out,
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also different now, Joe. It wasn't as much of a viable threat then as it is now, at least
Right.
in the way that things are rolling at this point. Okay. We all know that. Okay. It was a little bit softer laden back then than it is now. And
it was great.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot different. It was a lot nicer. Things are definitely dangerously scary now. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I got to have that period of my life. I feel very lucky that we all we weren't on phones. We hung out, we socialized, and I'm very glad.
We lived our lives, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really thankful that I got to live in that time period. Things weren't perfect, but
It was an
Yeah.
amazing
there was
experience.
something about it. There was just something about
Yep.
that time.
Life
Yep,
before cell
I
phones
agree.
and technology. I agree with that. Fully.
Yep. Well, guys, this was kind of nice. This last part, just kind of shooting the shit. It seemed like everybody enjoyed it and everything. So,
I think we should do
but
this
thanks
more
for
often.
hanging out with me while poor Leak.
Yeah, quarterly. I think we should do it more often, Robin. Just have a wide open.
Yeah.
Let's just talk,
Yeah.
guys.
Just whatever. And it seemed like the chat enjoyed it. So hey, why not?
Yes. Thank you,
So
guys.
we
You
will
gotta
see.
free form it sometimes,
There
right.
you go. There
From
you
the
go.
hip.
I
From
thought
the
you were
hip.
gonna say free ball it.
You took the words out of my
That
mouth.
too.
You can do that too if you want. That's up to you, though. We love you
Yeah.
guys.
Oh
We
my God.
appreciate you guys.
It's fun.
Yep,
It's fun when
so,
we all get
yeah.
to, we can kind of go off and just talk about random things. I think it's human, right? Our minds go
Yeah.
in these different places,
It's a good way to
Yeah.
decompress a little bit from all the shit that we
It is.
constantly deal with day after day after day, and kind of just sit around the fire and
Yeah.
Have a
I mean,
convo.
people have to realize, I mean, you know, this 2 hours isn't the only part of the day that we put into this stuff. I mean, if it's not reading documents or it's what, right, I know, Dago, you're like, oh,
This is
like,
my
I don't
third
know,
show
20 hours
today,
a day
so
going.
yes, yeah,
But, you know, or we're researching or we're whatever it is. And, you know, especially like for us over here, I mean, we do more than just, excuse me, what, just one thing. So
right.
we're trying to keep up on all the happenings in all the cases that we're covering. So we're like immersed in it. So sometimes it's just nice to let loose a little bit or play a gag or you know to
Decompress a
try
little bit.
to.
Yeah,
Right, exactly. So, but you know, I have to say our audience is they are tremendous and they understand and they get it and they enjoy it a little change up sometimes too. So, but so well, I guess we'll go around and close. Let's go JJ Dago and then I'll close us out here. So, go ahead there, JJ.
Thank you, guys. Another fun one. Thank you to the denizens and the meatballs and all the mods. You guys know I like going off script and just rambling about different things and get a little conspiratorial. So
not you.
thank you for, yeah, it's not only me, but thank you guys for indulging me. And thank you to everybody in the chat, you know, for dropping some stuff to fuel the fire a little bit. And somebody asked me about my YouTube channel, and I'm almost ready to go. I've just been so busy to get it all to get it all dialed in and ready to go. It's been a lot of prep and getting content ready for future episodes. So at least I have some stuff
Right.
laid out and outlined. And research, I've been reading again. I bought a bunch of books. I'm trying to devote more time to reading on some of the topics that I'm going to talk about. So I've been putting some time into that too. I just want to make sure that I have my ducks in a row, but thank you for asking. I appreciate it. And good
Yeah,
night, everybody.
Looking forward to it, Joe.
yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely.
Good evening. Thank you guys again for joining us tonight. As always, you are all so very loved and appreciated for joining us for these shows. We wouldn't be here without any of you. Thank you to the moderators. The same goes for all of you. And again, I want to thank Lee and Robin and JJ and 1-1 and Logan for being able to do this when we do it all together with us. I had the amazing ability to have 3 awesome and amazing shows today with 3 communities of 3 amazing and beautiful people. I'm very grateful for all of you and for all of that to have the ability to do that. So thank you to all of you, all the moderators, all the way around. You guys are all amazing. Thank you for everything you do and spending your weekend time here with us to do this. God bless to all of you guys. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other and don't change nothing because you guys are the beautiful people. And don't forget, guys, tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're coming in hot with part 2 of Princess Diana. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Woohoo.
I cannot wait. Have a great night, folks.
Yes, and thank you, gentlemen, for hanging out with me. You know, after Lee had to, well, he didn't have to, but his computer, whatever, crashed.
Of course.
And every night when we come out here, for the folks at home, we want to give you the best show possible. We know that you could be doing other things with your lives besides watching us. So we're grateful for each and every one of you that decides to spend the time with us every night. And we just love you for it so much. I hope you guys can feel that and feel how sincere we are when we say that, because
Yes.
we would not be here without all of you.
Right.
And what would we do without our mods and our teams? I mean, we are such fortunate people, and uh, just, you guys are just tremendous. And whether you're here live or on the replay crew, it means so much to us. And we will be back tomorrow. That's right. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, for week 2 of, the Princess Diana case. There's a lot of information, So if you have any interest at all, please tune in. There's potentially maybe some newer stuff that you have not heard. We're, going back over that case from the time, she was young, because to understand some of these things, sometimes you have to go back to the beginning. So it's important. So,
Yes.
but, and thank you to who, all you guys that do tune in on Sundays. We love it. And hopefully we'll have Logan with us tomorrow. I'm not sure what
I'm
happened
pretty
with her tonight, but that's not, so she was excited last week, so I'm looking forward to hearing what all she has to say.
Yes.
So
Yes.
but yeah, so but I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Have a
Good
wonderful
night,
night,
everybody.
everybody. God bless.